What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the ForexPropFirm.com. I'm your host, Valentin, and my guest today is Kevin. He started trading with FBF about 8 months ago, and now he got a 50K funded account. Kevin, how's your day going so far?
Pretty good. So, hi guys, my name's Kevin. I'm 33. I'm from Canada, Ottawa specifically. So we're in the cold winters right now, but yeah, I'm pretty excited to be finally on the team with FPF.
Nice, that sounds good. Okay, Kevin, the first question I always ask is, how long have you been trading for now?
Well, if we go from the first time ever, probably like 2 years, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I'm pretty resourceful, so I researched a lot, basically how to take a trade, what take profit means, how to calculate pips, how to calculate your risk. I've tried a few on my own. I don't think I was at that point yet, and then I definitely joined a lot of signal groups just to get an idea of how they're analyzing trades, but probably around 2 years, but I've only really felt comfortable with a strategy and myself trading on my own probably in the last 4 months. But I really dove into it, and I wanted to master it this time, so I really I dove into every strategy, every analysis I could, back testing, did what I could so I can feel comfortable myself. And obviously a lot of that is in your mind, playing with yourself, basically trying to get your head out of it and just stay calm. That's a main issue for me, I think. But about 2 years, and more consistently, I would say the last 4 months. But that's just putting everything I've learned over the last 2 years into practice.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, one thing you said was that your mind was the missing piece. And one quote I always remember myself thinking about is from Mark Douglas in Trading in the Zone. And he talks about the consistency you seek is not in the market, but in your mind. So I think it really doesn't matter which strategy you're taking, but you need to get your mind in check and really, get yourself a system in place to not get your mind too much involved. So you did a really good job. And what strategy are you trading now? Is it a little bit more specific? Is it like support resistance or whatever?
So I'm still in a few groups, but I find that just helps me. But every trade I make, I do an analysis. I wouldn't call it scalping, but it's more on the 5-minute time frame. I don't like to do swing trades. Again, that's just personal in my mind. I don't like having it open that long and seeing it go up and down. That's just me. It's a preference for me. I've tried both. I find I'm always checking my phone if I'm doing swing trades and holding it a few days or whatnot. I'm just, I guess, nervous of what's happening. I like the quicker trades. Mainly, I really focus on gold. I don't trade a lot of pairs. So that's the one I seem to be doing the best at. So that's the one I'm focusing on. The other one, like I said, I try and look at what I've been doing and what's performing better for me, and then that's what I'm focusing on. I don't want to jump all over the place. Maybe try and master a few pairs and then look into others, but that's my plan so far.
That is such a big and important point. I really don't know how to emphasize it, but in my opinion, you only need 1 to 2 pairs max. So I'm personally only trading EU and GU. That's all you need. You only need 1 pair, master this pair, and this pair is going to offer you more than enough setups. So you're trading gold, right? Gold is really volatile, but I think
I picked the volatile one to start with.
Yeah. If you find trading that, it's whatever. You can trade whatever you want as long as you're having success. And so, do you have specific times where you're going to trade gold, or does time not really matter for you?
I'd say for me, it's usually between 8 and 10 a.m. Eastern time. So whatever that translates to, whatever the listeners are, because I'm in Canada, but that seems to be the time for me. Maybe the odd one in the afternoon, but I'm looking at this as a few hours a day kind of thing. And that's just my time frame. I'm not actually working full 2 hours,
Yeah.
But picking one pair or two pairs for me. I don't have to go looking for a possibility. Basically, I can just stare at one chart instead of bringing up a whole bunch and looking for a trade. I'll take it if it's there. Some days, if I don't take a trade, then whatever, I'll keep going about my day because I'm still working, right? So this is hopefully someday I want to build this up, but for now I'm just being really risk adverse, taking it, trying to be consistent and consistently growing my account. If I take 3-4 trades and I lose one, win 3, then I'm happy. Right?
Yeah, I think 8 to 11 is a really good time trading gold because you got a lot of volatility kicking in for the USA, for the New York session in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So you said a really important point to me, which sticks out. You said you're only looking at these 2 hours, and there was one point in my career where it really clicked for me, where I always stared at the chart for the whole day, and always thinking about where can I take the next setup and stuff like that. And one day I was sitting there and I remembered myself thinking about that I'm trading for myself to get myself free and to get more free time. So why should I be a slave to the charts and sit there all day waiting for a setup to form when there really is nothing there? And there was a big point for me, decreasing my trading frequency, only looking at the economic calendar, then watching out which days I'm going to trade. Like, let's say Tuesday, New York session, 2 hours, and Wednesday. And that's all for me. If I don't get a trade in these 2 hours, it's okay for me. So it happens, right? I think the next setup is always around the corner. And that's a big point that always stands out to me, is to reduce your trading frequency and the timing, because you don't really want to be a slave to the markets and just set yourself free. So why staring at the charts the whole day when in reality it won't make you more profitable? Most of the time you're going to collect more losses, and then your risk to reward ratio is a lot less good than it would be if you just, let's say, 2 or 4 hours.
To add on to that, like before, when let's say I just seem to hover around break even, but I actually saw a guy just recently on YouTube say it, and it's kind of exactly what's happening to me. You're so excited for Monday to come so you can get some trades in, and you're just taking as many as you can, and you end up losing. And then the rest of the week, you're trying to gain back your losses. And I kind of figured that out. Like Monday's the losing day because you're too excited and looking for as many plays as you can because you want to make money. But you got to figure out that part. So that's another part with the mind. But yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think trading is such a big part for your mind. So you really need to preserve the mental capital. If you're losing early in the week, let's say like Monday or Tuesday, there is nothing really left to spare up for the rest of the week. If you lose at the start of the week, you're always thinking about how can I make that back and stuff like that. And really what I'm doing is waiting till Wednesday or Thursday, because most of my setups show up there, and I don't really care what happens on Monday or Tuesday. I know my trading plan is going to show up on Wednesday or Thursday, and then I'm going to take the trade. And I have so much more free space in my head right now, so I can start the week. Really, I don't need to think about the markets, and I could care less what happens. So I'm just waiting for Wednesday and Thursday, and that helped me to just reduce my frequency and be a lot more free, because trading could be stressful as well if you let it. You know what I mean? So if you're going to think about, okay, it's going to open up on Monday, I'm going to place a trade, and you lose there, you're thinking about the rest of the week, how can I make that back? And that puts you in not the optimal position, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Okay. Do you have a trading plan, or I would say, what does your trading plan include?
So with the funded account, obviously the whole point of that is to gain access to more capital, right? 10% on 10K accounts, not much, but 10% on 50 or hopefully bigger, right, is great, life-changing actually. So my plan is to try and hit 1% a day. Like this morning, I already did that. I'm good for the day. I'm not going to go over any more charts. I'm just going to leave it and wait till the next day, right? I'm happy I hit my 1%. If I hit more, even better. So that's my plan. I want to try and do that every day, 1%. If I hit it, then I'm good. Clear my mind, go do what I have to do. But in terms of FPS specifically, I want to keep, I'd say maybe 50% of my gains in to the work on the scaling plan. Like, I don't need to take out all my profits right now. It's not the point. I want to scale my 50K account up, right? So I'm going to be focusing on being consistent, 1% a day if I can, even 0.5%. I'm happy with that, and scale up my balance. That's my plan. And then eventually I'll probably take some out and put it into my own account. But for now, I want to try and focus on scaling. Maybe take a little bit, but I want to focus on scaling the account, because you guys, the reason I chose you guys is I think you have the best scaling plan out there. So if I can do that consistently, month over month or every 3 months, then I'm going to be laughing in a few years, hopefully.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, I think what most people really don't understand is that capital does the heavy lifting for you. You don't really need to increase your risk to make more money, but you need to increase the capital you have. Because imagine what 1% means for a 1 million account, or even maybe 2, 3 million. That's life-changing money you are going to make with 1%. But I know so many people that matter about, yeah, I need to increase my risk like maybe 2, 3%, and then they're losing. And yeah, I don't really think that you need to increase your risk that much. Just stick to 1% and let the capital do the rest for you.
Yeah, every time you do a riskier trade, risk 3%, that's usually the one you lose on.
Yeah.
And then you got to
100%.
300%. Then you got to make triple or double the amount to get it back to break even. It just doesn't add up. I like numbers, so that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, every time. Yeah, that's so true. Really good. Do you had any challenge you faced in your trading career? And if you had one, maybe can you touch a little bit on how you overcame it?
Oh yeah, there's tons. There's way more than successes, that's for sure. It just interests me so much. Like, I feel like trading could be an easy way to make money, but it's not hard. It's a lot harder to get there. But once you're there, it's not overly crazy complicated, but there's a lot of factors that are involved to be consistent and last, basically. So for me, it was like, you have a few wins, let's risk more, like the casino mindset or something. That never worked. The mindset, almost every trade you enter, it will go red right away, right? I see it all the time. Now I'm more comfortable practicing it more and more. You see it go into the blue after, but almost every trade you enter is going into the red on my app, let's say on my phone. And I've learned to kind of overcome that, again, bringing it back to the mind. Like, trust your setups, trust your risk. If it hits stop loss, whatever, you lost 1%, it's not a big deal. If your win rate is good enough, it's going to be fine, as long as you're consistent with risk. For me, it's like, I always thought like I can't lose, but that's when you lose more. So that was a big thing for me. But I think the main thing, a lot of people talk about trading and learning analysis and setups, but for me, it's more the mind. Like, that's the hardest part. Being okay with looking at the red right away and being comfortable that it's going to come back. It's not like it starts going in the red a little bit, but you're not close to your stop loss. Let's close this one out at a loss. Well, you're not trusting your setup. Or if it's halfway to take profit, you close it. Like, I'll do that maybe on the way to take profit 2, but not take profit 1. So I've learned to just let it ride and trust your setups instead of getting nervous and either closing a little bit of profit early or closing a little bit of loss because you're afraid it's going to go more, when most of the time after a few minutes it tends to come back and you just missed out on your take profit.
Yeah,
that was a big thing for me. I see it go in the red, it's like, oh shoot, it's going a little too far than I like, and you close it at a loss, and then it ends up coming back to your take profit that you set. But it was all a mind and nervous that got to me, that then you close it with a loss when it would have been a profitable trade. So
Yeah.
basically just trusting the setup, staying calm, not looking at the phone all day, especially if I hit a take profit and set my stop loss to break even, then I don't care. I grabbed my phone out, it went out at break even. The second one, I'm still good. Or I hit take profit too, and I'm even better.
Yeah.
I'm never crying when I open my phone back and I see closed trades at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. I think a big takeaway for myself was to really accept the risk and to think about every trade differently. But the outcome of the trade really doesn't matter if you focus on the long term. If you're thinking about, let's say, 10 trades and you're winning, let's say 6 out of 10, and 4 of them are losers. If you stay to your risk management, just let the risk to reward ratio do the rest for you. So if I'm taking a trade, I'm sitting there and I'm telling myself the outcome really doesn't matter to me. If it's a loser or a winner, I don't care. I just know I get my 6 wins, or let's say it's even 5. I get my 5 wins out of 10 trades and I'm good. You know, at the beginning of my trading journey, I always thought about, okay, now I got a winner, and say I'm up 1 or 2%. Now I'm increasing my risk, like you already touched on the casino mindset, you know. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make early in your trading journey. So just don't really think about the numbers you're doing, but rather think in probabilities, like your risk to reward ratio, because that is going to do everything for you. You don't really need to matter. And I really overcomplicated trading myself, but really, you need to stick to the basics. I always heard that at the beginning of my journey, and I was thinking about how the hell can this be true, you know? But the years I'm now in it, it's even more clear for me now what they were talking about the whole time, because just do the basics, get your risk management in check, and the risk to reward ratio is going to do the rest for you.
Exactly. Just stay consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, of course. Okay, so do you have any key moment in your trading, whether it was a good or maybe even a bad moment in your journey?
I guess this isn't my first attempt, right? And I've done it with other prop firms as well. Not too many, but I mean, failing for me, like, it's not easy to pass, especially like you guys, your rules are really good compared to some other ones. But, you know, like you said, you're getting so excited to pass, and then you could just blow it all in one trade. And that's what I did, to be honest with you. The daily breach and the drawdown, not even closed trades, like something I didn't pay attention to. I'm speaking strictly prop firms. So that's a kick in the ego, basically. But you know what? I was determined, and I kept getting better and better. So this one, I took it slow. Phase 1, anyway. Phase 2, I did pretty quickly. Took it slow, stuck to my strategy, and it just slowly grew. I really didn't even try to get 1% a day because I only need to get 8, right? So I took 3 weeks to pass phase 1, 1 week phase 2. But again, it's going back to the strategy. Like you said, risk to reward, let that do the work. Risk the same percentage every trade, and that's what I did, and that's what worked. I felt confident the whole time. It consistently grew, and now I'm really looking forward to working with a funded account finally. So
Yeah, of course. So just stick to your basics, stick to what brought you here. And you said you were successful with that. So just stick to that and you're going to be good. Really nice, really nice. Do you follow a daily trading routine?
So yeah, I mean, the new year coming, I own my own business too, and it's very hands-on. So I am fairly busy, but I noticed I've been working a lot and not focusing maybe on me so much. So I started running again, eating better, just drinking water, like simple things that you should do every day anyway, but it just energizes me more and I'm more focused. So that's something, I guess it's not a trading routine, but it definitely translates into trading. If you're tired, sluggish, weak mind, you're going to make mistakes. So that for me is very important, and I want to continue to do it. Trying to read too at night a few books. I'm reading a few Forex books just to try and understand even more, get better. I always want to keep learning. So probably not reading as much as I should, but that's something I want to improve on. But that's about it for daily routine for me.
Yeah.
Trying to stay a little bit healthier. So like I notice my mind is clearer, and I'm more just from doing that. So
yeah,
it makes
of course.
me push farther.
Yeah, that's really important points that you mentioned, because I think if you're not really focused and you get a little bit like, you get distracted easily and you're not really getting your health in check. I think you are not really able to trade the markets like you would be able if you're really healthy. You're going to do running, like you said, or even reading and expanding your mind constantly. I think it definitely translates to your trading performance. And I myself saw a direct influence of that as well. So I'm hitting the gym 4 times a week, and every day prior to trading session, I'm going to the gym to just leave my mind out of it, and then I'm coming back focused. And like I already told you, I got my 2 hours, and that's the window of opportunity, and I'm focused there. If I don't get anything, I don't care. But I think eating healthy and staying healthy, expanding your mind with books and stuff like that is so important, and a lot of people really underestimate what it can do for you.
Of course.
Can you recap your trading strategy for successfully passing the FPF evaluation?
Sure. So, like I said, my own account, I'd probably be risking 0.5% just to be safe. I wanted to start off slow and get some profit. That way I can afford some loss after. Like, I'd rather lose some of my profit than go into drawdown. So that was the main thing for the first 2 weeks, kind of build it up. And then the last week of phase one, I started doing the 1% a day kind of thing, just to try and, as I was getting close to passing it, right? So, but at the beginning, I didn't want to do that in case I had a few losses and I went into drawdown. I just wanted to play it safe, slowly build up some profit phase one, and then go a little riskier, but still nothing over 1%. Not one trade was, and if I'm taking multiple, then I would divide that 1% amongst the trades. So I kind of knew how much I would lose if all of them went into the negative and hit stop loss, and I would still be okay with my daily. Well, I guess you guys don't have a daily loss limit, which is another big bonus. But I pretended like there was, basically.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah, and as we already said, risk management is, in my opinion, the most important thing when you're trading. So your strategy really doesn't matter, but I think that's a big point. So one big interesting question for myself every time is, how is trading for ForexPropFirm.com different from trading independently? So basically having your own trading account.
So I think it's actually better for me because I consider myself a newbie. Even though I've gotten pretty good, I consider it, but I still have a long way to go, I think. So it's really having the rules in place have made me a more consistent and risk-averse trader, I guess. If it's my own and you don't have those rules, like you might mentally just one day like, oh, I'm going to take a risk today, and see. But having the rules in place makes me more consistent. So I think that would translate into my own trading account. And I think that's a good thing because I want to stay consistent, because compounding everything, you stay consistent in a few years, there's some big changes that will happen if you do that. So yeah, no more gambling. It's more strategic plan. So, and I think the rules in place make you do it. So why not continue to do it? Pretend that your personal account is a challenge as well. All you're trying to do is gain profit, right? So you're not thinking about being rich, in my opinion.
Yeah, great point, of course. That's 100% true. what recommendations do you have for someone starting with prop firm or trading in general?
Do your research. That's the main thing for me. Like when I first found you guys, I wasn't sure, right? You guys are new, come in, you know, but the ones that have been around for a while, I won't mention any names, but I don't like them. I find there's so many hidden rules. I will always talk to support, ask as many questions as I can. So I'm not gonna, like, I've passed 2 challenges with other prop firms, and then you get oh, you were doing something wrong, you don't get the account, basically, in simple terms. It's like, well, where was that mentioned? You know, I want to know that, so I wouldn't have done it if that's the case. And then it's like, closed doors, don't talk to us again, you failed, that's the end of it. All right, fine. So do your research, look at every rule. I always go to the FAQ section, or in your case it's the chat, but you can type in what you're looking for to make sure you understand everything before you buy a challenge. I would recommend you guys, because there's no daily loss in it. Like, you have a bad day, you're not screwed or ruined, basically. Another thing for me, I guess that's kind of 2, do your research, but the rules are the most important for me. Make sure that you're not going to breach anything, right? Some people just jump in and think, oh, I'll get a HFT bot and I'll pass in 3 days. Well, a lot of firms don't allow that. I'm sure there might be some, but I don't want to do that. And then I guess stick to your plan. Don't change it. Risk the same amount every day. Like, this is a good opportunity for you to practice risk, because it's very important. That's the whole point of you passing, right? Or not passing. You risk too much and you lose, you fail, you breach. So I guess that's
nice. Yeah,
that's the main
awesome
thing.
point.
I think the rules, knowing the rules of each challenge, and then sticking to your strategy, paying attention to risk. Like, I have an app that calculates my risk based on the stop loss pips and my balance, so I know exactly what lot size to put. I don't really guess.
Yeah, really important.
Yeah,
very nice. Thank you so much for your time, Kevin, and thank you for sharing your insights in your trading story and how you became funded. If you guys want to know more about FPF, you can go to the first link in the description. That's it for the interview today. See you guys in the next video on the channel. Take care.